if you played Ready or Not for, a short amount of time, a long amount of time, you either have a loadout you're comfortable with and you don't want to change it, or you're looking for new avenues to explore in this game. Now, I recommend the shield if you aren't using it already. Probably the best long tactical in the game that we have access to, at least in my opinion. Probably a lot of other people's too, but the reason why is because it can be the difference between you actually getting in the front door and being able to participate in the mission and not dying there instantly, or you actually being able to get in there, do everything you need to do, and actually clutch it up for the win, and everybody's happy after that, right? Including yourself. So, this is why I recommend the shield. My loadout with it, the B92X, I just love a good old M9. It's one of my favorites. I use the brake on it instead of the suppressor. You probably could do suppressor if you wanted, but I find more consistency with the brake. You know, just a laser, a little sight on there. The light armor, steel, front and back. I recommend at least having front and back. If you want to go heavy and go full, go for it. Ceramic's a good choice too, but make sure you at least have the front and back plate for whenever, you have shield up and your back is exposed. You want to have at least a little bit of armor for that. It has saved me before, so I do recommend it. This is kind of the like hybrid where it's like use a little bit of rifle, use mostly pistol and shield. If you want to, you can just do full pistol mags and just have a blast with it. Now, if you are going to do this, I want you to immediately start pacing your shots way more than you're used to, more than likely. Especially if you're used to doing full auto in this game, you gotta slow it down a little bit. The recoil on the guns, it's felt a lot more whenever you're not fully ADSing, but as I'm gonna show you, when you have your shield up and you're aiming like this, you're pretty much as accurate as whenever you're full on ADSing. So essentially, you want to take your time and line up the shots, be methodical, okay? Think about it. Don't just spam the shots down, center mass, and hope for the best. You will run out of ammo, and the guy will probably charge you, eventually getting around the shield, maybe even through it. I don't know. Whenever we used to use the shield earlier on, before Bullying Point came out, enemies would walk straight towards you and like push their guns into your shield, so be wary of this kind of stuff whenever you're actually doing the fights. You basically are going to want your gun to fully reset after each shot if you can help it. Granted, there's going to be plenty of scenarios where the enemies don't let you do this, but what I'm trying to show you here in the background footage is just when you steady your shot, let the recoil, mellow out, everything's fine after that, and then you shoot again. Obviously, yes, it's the most accurate, but what I'm showing you in here is the difference between every single state. Hipfire, shield aim, normal ADS. I'm going to show you all that and the difference in that accuracy. It's 2 mags in each, just to kind of let you know like how many shots I did. That's why I'm showing you. But I felt like it was kind of crucial, okay, for the whole shield mindset. You need to know not just your pistol, but how fast it can shoot, the optimal fire rate for actual good accuracy. You need to know, like, okay, besides guns, positioning is huge. We'll get to turtling however long from now. Fuck, what else is there, man? Weapons that go with it, like primaries, aren't nearly as necessary. You can kind of choose whatever. That's why I'm not really covering them heavily. I just use the G36 and call it a day, right? But if you want better synergy, you could always do MP7. You could always do a shotgun. Sky's the limit with that. It's up to you at that point. What's more important is pistols, alright? And of course your armor. But pistol, how many mags you bring, flashbang, stingers, whatever. You're going to need to think about this stuff to support what pistol you bring. As you saw there, B92X, it's a 9mm pistol, probably the most consistent one in the game. I'm going to show you a little bit on the USP as well. It isn't as bad because, 45 caliber and all. It shoots a little bit, a little bit rougher because of the recoil, but this gun is still perfectly fine for a shield. This thing, especially if you want something that hits a little bit harder, is the go-to option. Now, with the new DLC out and everything, we got a couple new pistols, right? One of them being a new Glock. And this thing can be really good for the shield, mainly because it's got what feels like 30 rounds in the mag, right? It's really like 22 or something like that, right? And it also can do full auto. I enjoy using this one for the odd mission here and there because of how much ammo is in each mag, but it doesn't have a compensator, no suppressor, no nothing, so I don't use it often because it lacks that consistency I value. Granted, if I want to just have a good laugh, meme a little bit, go full auto, yeah, I'm going to use this pistol, right? It's the only full auto option in this slot. So, it's novel for that reason. If you want basically this gun but with other attachments, just use the other Glock. You know, it's there if you want it. You can kind of see my accuracy with that thing. You are shooting and hoping for the best with it, okay? That is the most I could tell you about that. Even in burst, this thing is fucking not hopeless, okay? It seems like they really want you to be basically kissing the opponent if you're going to use full auto with that thing. Treat it like a shotgun if you're going to use it, I guess, but you know, I recommend a plethora of other options. You know, I'm trying to recommend mainly the pistols that I know everybody has. You know, I won't recommend the MKV because some people just don't have it. If you want power, you can go for the revolver. Not gonna have a lot of ammo, but it's there. Here's the S2011, the other new pistol that they gave us. I do like it, but I value the B92X far more, even though the 2011 has more ammo. Here you can see a little bit of what it looks like when you're using the shield and you're moving around. Kind of show you some of your weak points. Free laning here, I don't recommend ever free laning with the shield, because look how much your legs are out there. It's just not worth it. This is why I also recommend armor in the back, just in case somebody flanks you. You're not always going to have God positioning, so you're going to want to have that, okay? The shield is put on your back on the left side and taken out from the left side. So if you're ever swapping to something else or stopping bleeding, you need to look right if they're on the left. And if they're on your right, well, you're going to need to turn hard right and try to turtle like that too. Here you can kind of see a little bit more of what I was trying to get at with like, as I'm moving around, you can see where my legs are and everything and my buddy's cam. Of course, this is just before mission. We were bullshitting around, so I figured I'd use this time to actually try to get something useful out of it. I don't really think I got enough, like, actual good footage of showing, like, the weaknesses of, like, when you move a little bit faster, here's how far your leg moves out and such, but it's there. The testing grounds are the Spider for the easy map, and for the harder map, I went Neon Tomb because they have a little bit more armor, and I figured that it would be a good testing ground. Now, I'm going back to the pistols, okay? I know it's the main topic. This originally was going to be just, you know, best pistol for the shield kind of video, but it ended up being kind of more overall shield video, so here we are. My favorite B92X, consistency matters to me, so that's what I go for. I do like the S2011. It's almost the B92X, but it doesn't have the accuracy that I depend on and I value. But it has 21 bullets in the mag, so it's up to you. USP, if you want something that's 45 caliber and has more than 7 shots in the mag, this is what you're going to use. Pretty much your only option in that department. Now, like I said, I think I mentioned I didn't want to, like, you know, choose pistols that nobody else had or not everybody has. So I didn't want to recommend the MKV. 357 in that case if you're going to use something heavy duty. I do also like the M11 Compact. Now, the problem with this gun is look at the attachments, man. You have sights and you have lasers and flashlights. That is it. It is missing the crucial compensator or brake or suppressor slot. And for the shield, you kind of want a gun or pistol with that slot. So I wouldn't use it all the time, but at least try it out. It is a good pistol to run. Like I do really enjoy the M11. It's a beautiful pistol, so don't sleep on it, but try to figure out which one works the best for you and go from there. Those are just some light recommendations that I will float your way. So I figured the one way to show you how I use the shield is to actually, well, give you a rundown of how I do it while I'm showing you, obviously, right? Doi. But it's just single run I had. I went in solo on the spider with the pistol. I didn't use any flashbangs, no nothing. I do have them just in case, but not using them. So this is one side of the shield, right? Where you just run in with the shield always up and your pistol ready and just go to town on everybody in there, right? You don't really have to yell at people if you're not wanting to. Like, let's be honest. Grades are only really worth it if it's an S rank, right? So, like, you are in here to have fun, right? You don't ask for compliance, you don't ask anybody to listen to you. They listen to the Beretta, okay? That's how this shit works. If you down somebody and you're taking the doorway for a second, I highly recommend to check the guy that you just hit. Make sure he won't stand up. If you think he will, just tie him. It's way easier to do that and save your back. If you had wedges, your best friend is a pair of wedges, man. Like, you can take an entire room, entire side of a building with 1 or 2 wedges and a shield, okay? So, huge recommendation there. In situations like this, you have multiple doorways on either side and in front, you're gonna have to take the gamble. You either go to the left or you go front. It's up to you. You make these decisions as you learn how to use the shield. One thing I accidentally did here was I shut the door I was trying to back up to. So, realizing that, I kind of had to decide on to push this guy or to go left and go out. If you're out in the open with the shield, it's not like it's, instant death, but depending on what angles they have on you, it will be, okay? So I didn't want to go outside. I figured it's safer to take the building, and of course, atrocious aim. But this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Pace your shots, people. If you get in a situation where you can't really figure out where the hell the guy's gonna go, just take an extra second and aim. You have a shield in front of you, alright? Keep him in between, the shield and you. Well, keep the shield in between you and him, sorry. And you should be fine, okay? The thing is fucking impervious to damage. Like, the worst thing that can happen is the glass gets a little broken, right? A little shattered because of the bullets. Used to, that would be the end of it. But now, you can actually push more, and it'll reset it. You saw me checking every corner ever, by the way. It's because I've been ratted on so hard. These guys take corners and they just wait. So, check everything. If you hear people, look the other way first to make sure nobody can shoot you, and then go after the other guys, right? The roof here, I don't really recommend going up that way to do that, take it, but it can be better if you are taking the building first to do that. Just be wary of, that doorway is super deadly and how many angles that they have on you on this rooftop. Even I will admit it's a little ballsy that I do this without the shield here, but you can kind of tell that I haven't taken a lot of damage. I've been hit like maybe 3 times, right? So those kinds of challenges you can take here and there depending on how hurt you are. The shield definitely takes a lot of the damage. If you're gonna actually move up on a guy like that and he runs off, I recommend doing what I'm doing here and clear the rest of this place, because there could be a dude in this back corner for all I know, just waiting. It's better safe than sorry is what I'm trying to say, okay? Everywhere you go in this game, there could be someone waiting. They could be waiting for you to come in, waiting for you to make a noise, whatever. Depending on what you do, they can run off, they can push you, they can just sit there. So you kind of have to be ready at all times, right? That's why I kind of run around with the shield a lot here. As you can see, it's just me with shield up. Like, who fucking cares about the 110 or 115 FOV whenever you're looking through this little ass fucking window, right? Fucking, that's just how it goes sometimes, okay? With that playstyle, at least. Now, when I actually found this guy, he was at the bottom of the stairs. I can't see for shit, as you can probably fucking tell. But he shot the glass enough times for it to reset. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is like, that's probably the biggest change to the shield they made, where your aggression is rewarded if you play the shield right, with you being able to actually play the shield again in its proper way. Now, this map, not a lot of people in it. It's That's why I chose it, actually. It's like a decent enough map where it's kind of hard, but it's not too bad, right? Decent enough amount of people. They have okay guns, whatever. I've ran through a good chunk of the people in this map. There's probably only like 2 or 3 more, and they're probably not inside. But I walk through inside with shield up just in case anybody got smart, did flanking, all that shit. It's better safe than sorry. Now, going out here could be a death sentence. There's so many angles you gotta think about. You know, if you do look one way, they're gonna probably be on the right, they could be on this side looking this way. Don't take the chance. The map knowledge that you have can be used here heavily. So I go to the other exit, right? Now, this leads to the alleyway. It's way, way safer because my back can be to the edge of the map. As soon as I walk out of this door and look to the right, the bank is right there. Granted, I don't get to do that because 2 guys right there. I'm glad I went this way. But see, now that I've looked to the right, I know I'm good. There's nobody that can be behind me unless they go through the building. That is why it's important to, you know the maps and play to the strength of it. Know the rotations, know routes, know where enemies can spawn, where they might go. Could always just listen for them too. It's all part of playing the shield. There's a ton of different things that go into it. If you don't get it your first try, I do recommend just running it some more. I didn't really get it my first couple of goes either, to be fair, but it's part of it. Okay, the more you do it, the better you get at it. Now, I did all that again, but I did it with the USP instead, right? Similar performances, just hits a little bit harder, and you gotta manage the recoil a little bit better. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same in terms of experiences. Like, these guys are not armored enough for us to tell the difference between the 9mm and the 45, even in AP. It's just gonna go right through them. One thing you saw me doing there is I waited just that little bit extra time, because when you act in this game, opening a door, making a loud noise, like I was mentioning earlier, NPCs will react to it various different ways. Sometimes you want to do that activity and just sit there. Let it breathe for a second. Because as you saw, as soon as I went to move, the guy jumps out of the fucking doorway. I recommend letting it breathe for a second sometimes. Just sit there. Just wait sometimes. It helps. Plug doorways so that they can't just push right on in. You really do determine the flow of the map if you play the shield properly. And if you don't miss your shots like I do. On a map like this, the difference between like the 9mm pistols and the 45s don't really matter much. It's negligible, honestly. Especially if you're just aiming for headshots on the shield, it's just, like, your ammo type doesn't matter as much, especially with the whole AP and JHP thing. Like, you can just run APs or JHPs and just shoot for heads, depending on what map you're on, okay? You would actually have to change that stuff out. Like, the newest ones, I wouldn't want to do a New America with JHPs on this shit, okay? I just, no. Shit, I haven't been talking much about shield, huh? Like, using cover is pretty essential, even if it is just to cover your legs. If you see a little bit of cover that's like waist height, you can actually stand up and peek over it a lot more efficiently than if you were to just lean over it with the free lean or whatever. I don't really recommend a lot of leaning with the shield. Like, the normal one, you can do, but I find that it throws off my accuracy heavily, right? Like, this kind of lean, fine. But you don't see me do a lot of free leaning just because you're stationary for one, but for two, you saw it earlier, your legs are so exposed, man. Like, you want to minimize that shit. I say that as I'm standing on an open roof, mind you, in the footage. I know. Anytime I'm about to get shot, I do crouch, or well, I am getting shot, so it's whenever I realize it, okay? You need to find the rhythm of, like, standing and moving at least decently fast, and then immediately hunkering down and not moving with the shield in front of you, because that's usually when you're the safest. I ran through this a third time, okay, with the 2011 pistol, and this thing, shocker, just ran through everybody just as easy as these other pistols, right? Kind of show you there isn't much of a difference, right? It's really just the recoils and all that shit, right? That's the real difference that you're actually going to feel in the field, alright? Sometimes you will see that too, where like chest shots mean dog shit, even with AP. I'll show you that in a little bit too when we get to Neon Tomb, but every headshot you make with this thing is pretty safe to say a good shot. And thanks to the shield absorbing everything, you can just shoot, you know, for free basically. Like you're freely able to aim at heads, adjust your aim if you miss. I mean, look at how far away I am from this guy. Normally, he would have lit me up. With the shield, yeah, he's hitting me, but he's not hitting me. He's hitting my shield. And because he's only hitting my shield, you know, I barely have any real damage to me. Yeah, I do get bled here. I start bleeding. This right here is like a little bug. It's not supposed to look like that, and it's not supposed to put the shield away when you stop your bleeding. It's supposed to pull the shield right back out, and, you know, you're supposed to be able to go straight back at it, but it's a little bug that's happening as of late, so I don't know what's up with it. I hope they do fix it, though. So, before we jump into Neon Tomb and all the runs I did on there, which I forgot to mention, all of the runs you see in this video, it's all on hard, okay? I only play on hard, so all my testing is on there, whatever. Anyways, when you find yourself in a situation like this, you know, multiple people shooting at you, different angles, out in the open, and you get caught bleeding, your only option is to stop the bleeding and turtle, which... by turtling, you put the shield on your back and you turn around so that they can't shoot you. Basically, you face towards them with your back so that you can, you know, essentially tank everything without actually having to pull the shield out. Now, it is a little tricky to get used to. So I do recommend, you know, you basically have to throw yourself into the fire to test it and try it out and get used to it. But doing that will just save you so many times. If you actually get one of those really good turtles off, man, you will not believe the kind of action you'll see in this game. Nothing like it. It feels so good. Alright? In a situation like this where there is literally no cover anywhere other than yourself and your shield, if you get caught bleeding, especially with all the damage I have, usually you're dead here. But I somehow got perfect turtle action. She didn't hit me once past that, and then you get the easy one shot. It's crucial to learn this at the end of the day, but just know that it won't always save you, obviously. Nothing is 100% in this game when it comes to consistency in that regard, where, like, you know, it could work really well against one guy, but the next guy you could just try that against and they'll laser you in the hip or the side, other side, fucking leg, whatever. So, just get used to doing it, but you can't rely on it 100% of the time. Anyways, going on to Neon Tomb, I went in there first with the 2011, and I would be honest, didn't surprise me much that this thing was able to perform as much as it did. It's a powerhouse of a pistol. Easy recommendation if the B92X wasn't a thing, this would be the one that I use probably all the time. A lot of people probably change from the B92X to this because it has more ammo and it performs similarly, but, you know, that's just how I look at it, is like, the gun that works the best for you is the one that you should pick. So, with that being said, strategy obviously counts a lot in a mission like this. I recommend going on the outside of this entire place. Don't go through the dance floor. You're just asking for it, okay? You go along the outside of the map the entire way, and then you go upstairs, clear the outside upstairs, and then you can go dance floor, maybe if you need to. By then, there's probably going to be like 3 guys left. On a mission like Neon Tomb, I think there's like anywhere from like 16, 18, 19 enemies on this mission. You know, you can get rolls in between there, not always exact, so anywhere in between those numbers, right? And honestly, in a perfect world, perfect scenario, you could one-mag this place with this pistol, right? You have enough. But that's one-tapping everybody and never missing, and, you know, being allowed to do that in this mission, because unlike the Spider, these guys have automatic weapons and they're not afraid to shoot back, and then there's also suicide vests. Great. Now, if you played this mission, you know how much of a pain that last one is. You could be kind of a good distance away, and you could still get caught by the blast. So you need to be especially careful running a shield in this mission, because you're already going to be close quarters anyway. That's what they want. So you need to go slow, and you need to kind of know, maybe need to know this, kind of like where the guys spawn that have the vests. Honestly, it's not high priority as long as you check every corner and just be careful. Now, that bar area, don't recommend going through the bar, but I am going to do a little bit of it just because when you have a shield, you're able to do dumb plays, let's be honest, and get away with it. So when you do this, make sure you at least look at the dance floor first. Don't go in half-assed like I did there. And if you do get caught, immediately go back into hard cover, get out of the room, point your shield towards where they're going to come out at. Just be ready for them to push again and again like that. You just got to be ready for the bleed, especially if you're running steel. I only run the steel because it doesn't lose durability, really. It's always going to be there. It's not like ceramic where like you have ceramic and then like halfway through the mission, or if you're unlucky through the front door, you pretty much lose the ceramic plating and you just have like nothing. That's why I value steel way more, even if you bleed more. It's up to you, of course. This little scenario here, does it look a little familiar, like in the firing range, for example? Really far away target, me trying to pace my shots properly. It's part of the process, okay? If you think it wouldn't come up, here's a perfect example of it actually showing up in a live game right there. Like really far away shots, having to pace it, control your shots, not spam it, actually having to aim. God, fine aiming like that at a distance on a controller at that. Yeah, we all know that that can be a little rough at times. But with that being said here, cleared a little bit of the place. I don't recommend going through the dance floor because you have the second floor that can just fucking shoot down on you like you were fishing a goddamn barrel. So I recommend going around, and as you can see, it's not always going to be safe. Even if you cleared it, you have to be on guard, people. That guy could have easily ended this entire run right then and there just if I wasn't paying attention. It's part of it. As you run it more and more, you will just know these things, alright? I'm sure the veterans of this game are like, yeah, no shit, buddy. I can tell you every single thing that this fucking mission has, every spawn, every fucking door that would be locked, whatever fucking bullshit. You know, like, there's gonna be people that know beyond all this shit. This is for the guys that, like, you know, you're kind of in the middle of the pack there, like you've been playing, or you're on the beginning side of things. You either know a lot, and then kind of want to expand more knowledge, or it's just like, maybe I want to know what this side of the game is like. You know, like, there's a lot of different avenues people end up here from, okay? Anyways, when I got done making sure that guy was done for and that side was clear, I ran all the way back around here, really just to make sure that everything was good this way again. I should have gone through the other double doors in this room, or at least connected to this room, to go into the baths, but, you know, this counts as going around the outside if you go through here a little bit, I suppose, because just straight through here is the other end of the fucking nightclub, right where that guy opened that door. Then to the left is the baths and all the sauna area and shit. So it's all connected right here, but, you know, if you're following the advice of following the outskirts of a map, then you would go left instead of through the bar. You would go through the baths and then around all that, and you'd end up here just a different way. Now, even if you did get one guy in here, I still recommend checking everything. Behind every single door, behind every corner, you have to pretend that there is somebody there waiting on you. It just goes a lot smoother if you do it, because as soon as you get complacent, you start making mistakes, start assuming there's nobody going to be here, nobody there, this and that. That's when you mess up. And those are the most punishing, because those are ones that are completely avoidable, okay? Now, right here, I'm trying to stick as close to the walls, anything that's solid, as I possibly can. And as soon as I open a door and commit to it, I'm full-on committing, I'm turning in there, making sure nobody can shoot me from inside the room, shut the door. You don't have to unequip the shield to shut doors, you can just run into it. You gotta really check everything in this building. This mission, they like to hide everywhere. Every nook and cranny, they're gonna fucking hide there. That's why you see me double, triple checking some of these, just to make sure there's not somebody waiting right there. Now, usually this room has like 2, maybe 3 guys in there. Depends on the baths, if they have one in there, like the actual bathrooms. There can be like a guy in each one of those, or a guy in none of them. That's why I'm telling you, act like there is someone behind every corner, every door, always. And you'll see a lot more consistency, in terms of actually knowing if someone is there, or, you can listen to it. But if you're always on guard, you're never, gonna fucking slouch anyways. That's what I'm talking about. That's consistency there, too. You want to make sure that you're always paying attention, alright? And a mission like this, mainly, is why I say that. Like, if it is something like the Spider, you don't need to pay that much attention to. Valley of the Dolls is like a mid-ground, like a midway between these two, where, like, yeah, you would have to pay attention, but it wouldn't matter. This one, full pay attention, okay? They have fucking RPDs, people. Okay? 100-round drum mags, and they are not afraid to shoot them. Pay attention to these guys. They hide in the little corners just like that. I can sit here and repeat the same thing over and over again, right? But, you running it will actually get it in your head a lot faster than just me telling you. Experience being the best teacher and all that, boys. This hallway right here, there's a reason why I'm standing right here. I want to be able to see if anybody pushes me from dance floor on the left. And I only really peek out a little bit more when I know I can't really see the guy and I have to commit. These spots can be really, really dangerous, so you have to be careful. Think of like how you want to take this. Stay close to the walls. Just in case you get hit, you can duck behind them. There's a lot of small things you have to worry about. Positioning means everything in here. Mainly as a shield guy, but like, you're playing solo in general, you're gonna want to have good positioning. I'm sure some people would argue that you won't even need armor on the backplate if you have good enough positioning. I would argue that you're gonna make mistakes sometimes, so just be safe rather than sorry. Bring in the extra armor. If you run heavy, bring it all, It's up to you, man. Yeah, you see me triple checking. I've had guys hide behind like every fucking door up here, so I'm extremely careful. At least to the point where I'm listening for if anybody's back there, shuffling, whatever. This room right here that I'm coming up on has to be the worst one for this entire mission. If you are not careful here, it can all go tits up so easily. Granted, I know that's the entire mission, but this room in particular has so many sightlines that if you are not extremely careful in how you position yourself, where you're looking, at any time with the shield, man, you can get shot from like 5 different angles depending on if you're, on the right in this little mini dance floor, if you're by the bar over there, or if you're coming from main dance floor. Like, there's 3 ways into this room, and each way has just the right amount of funnels to show, like, okay, it's super dangerous in this room, you gotta really pay attention. And a shield just evens that playing field heavily. But you're really exposed, and obviously you can't fucking see everything, so that's the risk you're taking there. It can be safer, but it can also be detrimental, right? That's why, like, the average shield guy, if you used it, you know your shit, you know what you're doing in here. Someone that's just trying it, man, they'd probably be overwhelmed with just going into a place like this and trying to not get shot, okay? It's incredibly crucial. Keep your back to the fucking walls. If you can, find a corner like I was going towards so that you can cover both sides of you instead of just one, right? Leaving only really one angle that they can hit you at. Like, this corner is pretty good, I want to say. It's kind of safe-ish. It's not really the best, but it was good enough where, like, nobody was really looking, right? Now, just like with Spider, I ran this with multiple different pistols. The same ones that I did for Spider. I just did it in opposite order. So we're on the USP now. And genuinely, this thing didn't feel any different from the 9mm. It just felt like it had less bullets and a little bit more recoil, right? I guess it's a little bit of difference, but, generally speaking, it doesn't feel that much different, right? Same performance, well, okay, similar. but just hits a little harder. So if you ever felt like USP can't really keep up, it can, and it can do it very, very swimmingly, very nicely, okay? It's also just like one of the more stylish pistols, so it's like, why wouldn't you want to use it? But, you know, if you value tight shots, the consistency and all that, you already know I'm going to say B92X, okay? So, that's what I would say about that. In here, I kind of show a little bit more on, like, you can lean a little bit, but, you know, you don't want to be leaning and shooting at the same time. That is the accuracy penalty for me that I just can't do. Same with, like, moving and shooting. Try my best to stop moving completely before I shoot any shots, if I can help it. There are going to be times where, obviously, you just can't help it. I don't know if I mentioned this by this point, 30 plus minutes into the video, right? But if you're getting shot at, right, it's very easy to panic, just start shooting a lot of shots. This kind of ties into the pacing of your shots, but just slow down, okay? Do not freak out when you're getting shot at. Slow and steady, okay? I've had a few instances in here where I've shown you, you know, me getting shot at, and I don't do a lot of like crazy moving or anything. I usually hunker down, I stop moving, and I just shoot at them if I can see them. If I can't see them, I try to angle myself in a way where they shoot the windows so I can actually fucking see again. They hide behind those doors, that's why I'm checking it so much, if you were wondering. I've been ratted on in that same exact spot way too many times for me to say that, you know, it's good, alright, it's great. No, it fucking sucks, okay? Look and watch the fucking doors. Every corner, every door. Check it. By the time I made it to this room on this run, I was fucking torn apart, I will admit. But I was able to make it through here a little bit, right? And while I'm fighting this guy, we have this weird exchange, right? Where I'm trying my best to hit him through here, he's trying to hit me. I eventually knock him down, right? This ties into checking the bodies, especially if you were to run over the guy. I didn't run past this guy, okay? But it's only because there was another guy just across the way. This motherfucker stands right up. And me and him have the most awkward, like, staring contest, whatever the fuck this is. I was trying to reload my USP, but I shouted at him, and, you know, that undid the reload animation. So we had this weird little thing, this little back and forth, of just staring at each other's souls until I finally got my gun reloaded and fixed properly. Now, right here, I don't know if it was my arm or my leg. It looks like my arm that he got. But I was so close to death anyway, and there was probably like 2 more guys past him. To me, the USP beat that mission, but obviously it actually didn't. But let's be honest, that's more user error and maybe just a little bit of not being so lucky in that run. And now I ran it again, like I was mentioning earlier, but this time B92X. I had not nearly as much problem with the other 2 runs. This one, it took me a little bit to actually get a good run. Same with the USP, I'm gonna be honest, but it wasn't that bad. In a scenario like this, though, I got bled and the fucking shield glitched as I was doing the patching. Get to solid cover, people. Stay close to those walls anywhere where you can go just in case something like that happens. In between his fire, move up. If you see him come out to peek you, stop moving completely. Hunker down. Don't let him see any of you, because as you can see, my legs are absolutely ripped. Pretty sure one of my arms is too in this section. No, it's just my legs. So, I can kind of risk the arms a little bit more, but those legs, man, I have to move like snail's pace so that they do not peek out from under the shield or off the sides or anything. It's small things like that that, you know, you wouldn't see that killing you unless you actually, you know, saw it, like I showed you earlier. Now, that was all just solo, right? Within a team, the shield shines so much brighter because you are like the tip of the spear, okay? You break through in front of everybody, and you're basically grabbing the ground for you guys to hold up and then, you know, you basically do it again, right? You can push forward, everybody falls behind you, secures it, and then you keep going, you know. You can make safe zones like that, especially if there's more than one shield guy. If you have more than one, let's say like two, I wouldn't go beyond that in a team of 5, for example, then you could cover both sides pretty easily. And like say this hallway, you know, if you guys had a big enough hallway, maybe not this one, you could double stack it and push forward together, and then the guys, you know, over your shoulders are able to shoot, you know, pretty much freely because all the aggro is going to be on you, right? So like as you can see here, I take out one guy, the other guy starts just laying into me, but obviously, you know, I'm not hurt at all. My buddy got hit once, but he was fine. He was in cover, and I'm the mobile cover, so he was able to just shoot right over my shoulder, down the guy, and we were good. We were able to move forward. That's what I'm talking about, is like, as the tip of the spear, you break the assault, or even their defense, you know, and you basically take that ground for yourselves, and you just keep doing that over and over again, and, you know, next thing you know, the level's over. If you're lucky, and if you don't get caught like I just did there, for example. There are plenty of times where you are going to get caught from the sidelines. It's just how it works, man. You have to be careful. You have to always be looking, always be paying attention. But if you have a good, you know, duo or trio or whatever your amount of people you play with are, or God forbid if you play with randoms, Jesus Christ, then you're basically praying that they shoot over their shoulders and actually hit some of the guys if you can't see, or they're, you know, watching the sides for you. Like, if I go straight across here, I'm hoping my buddy's watching left, for example, even though I probably would have looked left if he didn't anyway. It's just small stuff. You gotta trust the teammates you're with, or if you're doing it solo, you know, you just gotta say fuck it a lot of the time and just do it, you know? So, think about that kind of stuff if you're ever going to run the shield, because all of these things are important. Every little bit of stuff I at least talked about, save for like the rambling I did, was at least important enough for me to mention it to you about the shield. So, you know, as a guy that's been running it for quite a while, I ran it in all my S ranks and everything. Like, it is the main tool that I would want to use if I want to get shit done properly. You know, if I'm taking it serious, I'm bringing a shield. If I'm trying anything else out, you know, it's probably like, I don't know, one of those like flash launchers, some bullshit. You know, like, I don't really go mirror gun anymore. I don't do anything because shield is so goddamn strong that you don't need to look around the corners with a mirror gun. If you just have a shield, you fucking swing the thing, you know? And since, you know, your loadout isn't just your shield and pistol, it's also your primary, you have the option of doing range, going even further in the close range spec. Like, you have options with the shield. What you see fitting best with it is what you should run. You know, I just like a good rifle or a good SMG, PDW, shotgun, pretty much anything other than a marksman, right? Just because I like to use full auto weapons or I like to go shotgun. It's just how it is. You may like to do marksman with it, hold back, and then if you ever need to move up and push, you do shield. You know, like, you have that option, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at here is it fits into your loadout, but you gotta figure out how it does, okay? That part's up to you. I can't tell you that part. That one's all your playstyle and what matters most to you and yada yada yada. What missions you play, team, no team. It works in both settings, okay? Just gonna let you know. But no matter what, I would recommend it. I mean, that's probably very obvious now. This fucking video is almost an hour long. Christ's sake. I don't know how it got out of hand here. Oh yeah, it also, shield can block knives. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, I don't know how it got so out of hand here, but, you know, there's a lot to cover with the shield. I'm gonna be honest. And even I know I didn't cover everything. I'm sure somebody's gonna say, oh, you missed this thing, you missed that thing. Well, good. You know, I'm gonna miss plenty of stuff, and I want y'all to tell me about it. Even if I'm saying it this fucking late into the video, I want y'all to tell me if I'm wrong on something, if I missed something, if I'm dumb, if I'm stupid, whatever. I need to know these things, because I'm the kind of guy that wants to only give you the right information. I don't want to give people wrong information. That's bullshit to me. I don't like doing that. So I'm trying my best to just convey my knowledge to you. Okay, things I've learned after what? It's only like almost 200 hours of playing, but it's still experience. So do with that what you will, and all of this that I've
Well, I just got
info dumped
shot.
onto you.
Yeah,
Hope
I
it helps
just saw you.
somebody.
I was like, oh shit,
Hope you enjoyed
okay,
it,
it's him.
And yeah, I'm back on Radio
I
9.
left.